Hey everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and today we've got the pleasure of watching McDom165 from the North American server dominating in their Tier 7 Soviet heavy tank. It is the KV-3. Now, as you all know, the IS-4 was recently buffed in update 1.10, and all of the previous tanks, as you get towards the IS-4, received some love as well, and the KV-3 is no exception. This Tier 7 Soviet heavy tank received a substantial buff to the turret armor of this vehicle. Previously, you could go through this turret with about 130mm of penetration. Now you're going to need about 170 to 180 in some parts of the turret to be able to have a 50-50 chance of going through. And obviously inside a matchup like this, where you're against Tier 6 and Tier 7 tanks, not many vehicles have that kind of very high penetration that you start to get up to at Tier 8. Tier 7, the average kind of pen is about 150 to 175. As soon as you get to Tier 8 now, it feels like it's more about 200 to 225, unless you're getting hit by a tank destroyer. And so that makes a huge difference for the KV-3 turret inside a matchup like this, where it can truly feel like a heavy tank. Wargaming didn't stop there though. They didn't only buff the turret armor of the KV-3, they also decided to give it an improved aim time, with the new aim time 3.1 seconds. Still not great, but a lot better than previously when it was at 3.4 before update 1.10. And also, they decided to improve the accuracy of the vehicle as well, from 0.46 to 0.44. Again, not wonderful, but every little helps. And tiny little upgrades like that could make the difference whether you're going to snipe in at the Tiger on the move like that. And here we go. It's the Tier 7 German heavy versus the Tier 7 Soviet tech tree heavy tank. So, McDom immediately tracks the Tiger on the move. Just dominated, right? Absolutely, completely destroyed. I don't know what that Tiger was thinking getting caught out in that position, but Dom shows you just how good the 122mm is on the KV-3, and it's another thing that I love using on the IS. Playing the IS on my free-to-play account, unless I'm shooting at artillery, as some of you may remember. Yeah, I can't seem to hit French artillery for anything with my 122mm on the IS. It's definitely one of my favorite tanks on my free-to-play account, for the same kind of reasons why I discussed when I was playing through the IS-3 the other day on the channel, on my video where we followed it up with some UDES gameplay afterwards. Now, the KV-3. I adore it because of that huge alpha damage, and Dom is making it work as well. The Tiger just gets caught out. Such a large caliber gun is going to have a large caliber module damage to go along with it, meaning that you can take tracks off in a single hit, unlike what the Tiger would do to the KV-3. And when you're hitting for 390 with a fairly okay rate of fire, the DPM of this vehicle is actually near 2000 base. And that allows you to pick apart your opponents pretty darn quickly. Not incredibly fast, but it's interesting that the damage per minute of most vehicles for heavies kind of peak at Tier 7, and it's not until you get to Tier 10 where they really start to go up. And the fact that Dom is using the improved durability of this vehicle to have 1,540 hit points means that this is a substantial threat, more like a raid boss for the enemy team to deal. So Dom is showing his experience in World of Tanks right now. He gets himself quickly to be pre-aimed for where he was going to get flanked by the Eagle, and that means that now the Eagle actually wants to back off because things aren't going very well. That cash register, that cha-ching, was not me rolling a mid-roll on this video. Oh dear. Can I continue from there? Possibly. Yes, I can. Okay. The cash register noise was actually... I can't... Well, let me interrupt myself. Did Dom just manage to overmatch the top of that Japanese Tiger there? Heavy tank number 6. That was an incredible shot, showing you what you can do with the 122mm to overmatch those 30 and 40mm plates. Back to what I was saying. That kind of cash register noise is actually from using the enhanced durability of the tracks, which also increases the hit points of this vehicle. And it means that Dom's tracks are actually incredibly hard to take off. They've got double the health, I believe, and when they fully repair with your, well, naturally, so to say, with your crew, also if you decide to use a repair kit, then that means that they're going to come back with full hit points and they're not going to be as easy to take off as if you weren't using it. It's definitely an incredible module to use on your heavy tanks, but I would say Personally, for me, I would still rather use it on the vehicles towards the top end that don't really try and focus on the damage per minute. And when you think about it, the KV-3 is just one of those. Having the extra durability on the tracks and the extra hit points on an already healthy tank seems to make sense at tier 7. And the ability to be able to keep trundling forward adds to that. And for all I know, maybe McDom is actually kind of just stuck here. Maybe he decided to not get the tracks on this vehicle and just go straight for the big gun and the big turret. Yeah, we can see the ugly aim time, poor gun handling, and the awful accuracy, even buffed, of the KV-3 rearing its ugly head there as he misses the KV-122. And even the 175mm of penetration, unable to get through the tier 7 Soviet premium heavy tank on the enemy team. The KV-122 is always a bizarre vehicle for me to see. It's basically what used to be the KV-85, which used to be called the KV-1S at tier 6, but in kind of like its unnerved form. I guess Wargaming thought that they could put the KV back into the game. The KV-1S, definitely one of the most powerful tanks, tier for tier in the game of all time. That tier 6 tech tree tank before it was nerfed massively with that 122. To put it in the game at tier 7 as a premium vehicle and expect it to be as effective just shows you how important tiers are in World of Tanks, and vehicles that are great at tier 7 probably wouldn't even be mediocre at tier 8. Alright, so McDom has had a dominating impact in this game so far, with 4,000 damage dealt and 2 kills to Dom's name. But his work is not cut out. He's still got a lot of work cut out for him to be able to do here. He's got to be careful though, because I expect there's probably going to be tank destroyers up on that ridge line. Dom is asking for help with the Churchill. Maybe he wants the Churchill to try and help him cap. It would be sensible in this situation as Dom's team is outnumbered. So Dom watches as the artillery wipes out the Firefly in front of him. Is he going to use that as a bit of maybe he shouldn't engage this scenario? Well, to be honest, the artillery is going to hit him anyway. So finishing off the tier 7 Soviet heavy tank puts this more into a chance of Dom being able to come back into this game. With 6 vehicles on the enemy team and 4 on Dom's team, it's actually looking like it's pretty good right now, to be honest, with the Tiger on half hit points and an artillery up on the hill, and Dom snapshotting the Su-100, showing his good marksmanship in this battle. Things are really starting to look in Dom's favor. So with the Su-8 above him, did I just have to open my big mouth? Well, apparently artillery have got something to say about this game looking to be in Dom's favor, as unfortunately the Su-100 shots down Dom's artillery, who was spotted by the P-43 BIS, and the artillery takes out one of his few remaining allies in the form of the Churchill 7. And now it is Dom and a Tiger taking on 6 opponents. The Su comes around the corner, this time not foolish enough to go and sit in front of Dom's tank for very long, meaning that Dom doesn't manage to get the shot. And there's the WZ-131GFT. I just learned that that vehicle has a fearsome tier 8 medium gun on a tier 6 tank with incredible heat penetration. Dom repairs his tracks. We hear the cash register go off again. Oh, that's not a good noise, though. At least Dom is using a fire extinguisher on this tank, and he manages to put it out quickly. Now, I like this. Calm under pressure. Reverse, side scrape into position. Fair enough, got caught out. Fair enough, lost about 450 hit points there to the tier 6 Chinese tank destroyer, but now able to recover, to gain composure. Unfortunately, the Tiger on his team wasn't able to have such composure under fire against the tier 6 Italian medium tank, and that means that McDom is now in a 1 versus 6 scenario with 3 tier 6 tanks. Make that 2 tier 6 tanks and 3 self-propelled guns as well. Now, I love what Dom is doing here. Dom is getting himself into cover against the enemy artillery. By sitting in this location, he should be safe from them, unless the M12 decides to come up behind him, but quickly Dom bears the gun around, and with the meaty alpha damage with the 122mm is able to shut down Aquaboy 006. Well, maybe if you'd been 007, you would have been a little bit able to handle that situation, Aquaboy. Wasn't quite able to do it, though, and luckily Dom doesn't even take a hit. Dom doesn't actually have a repair kit right now to repair the fuel tanks on his vehicle, which I would hasten to do so. When your fire extinguisher is on cooldown like this, Dom is 1 splash away from a game-changing fire. The way that the fuel tanks work in World of Tanks is that they go yellow, meaning they're damaged, and then if they go red, then they go back to being yellow immediately again, but your vehicle is left ablaze with your crew having to deal with it. But you know what? One of the funnest things about this replay, for me, it's not that Dom is completely dominating this game. It's the fact that his team, and I'm so jealous of the North American server right now, are cheering him along. They're having a good old time along with it. And look at what the Hellcat on Dom's team says. Hopefully they all shoot like stormtroopers. Well, unfortunately, this WZ-131G isn't missing, and Dom takes another heat round to the front of the vehicle. Dom's got his fire extinguisher back now, so there's probably no use of using the repair kit on the fuel tanks, but if you're the kind of player like me who uses premium food consumable in place of a fire extinguisher, make sure you are repairing your fuel tanks. And if you are burning in Soviet vehicles, it's definitely one of my biggest tips for them, especially in the Object 140, as I have been finding out on Ranked on my free-to-play account. Okay, so Dom is rushing down towards the WZ. He zooms his mouse all the way out there to be able to take a look to see which way the WZ is facing and comes around the corner quickly to shut him down. I felt like that WZ might have had a knackered engine in that scenario. Maybe he was unable to repair the engine from Dom's first shell. Dom repairs his tracks, getting them back on quickly. Tracks back to full hit points because of the module, and luckily the artillery didn't set Dom on fire, but the fire extinguisher would have handled it. Okay, so Dom has changed his 1 versus 6 now into a 1 versus 2. With 3.5 minutes left on this game, Dom enters the cap circle in the nick of time. You need, by the looks of it, 3 minutes and 40 seconds to be able to cap out here. 3 minutes and 20 seconds to be able to cap out here. Because it requires 200 seconds, aka 3 minutes and those additional 20 seconds. So Dom is just in the nick of time, but the AMX-13 F3 gets behind Dom there, but then decides to pull back. Are they going to try and double team Dom in the cap circle right now with one tier 6 French self-propelled gun behind him that I can't hit with my IS to save my life? And another M44. I like the way that the artillery are trying to handle this situation. Not just being stupid, not just driving in. They're trying to get those shells, hopefully from a range, trying to do some kind of joint teamwork. Now, if Dom gets interrupted one more time, that means that he's not going to have enough time to be able to cap. But in this scenario, I'd be incredibly nervous inside the cap circle to give up those cap points. Okay, Dom, will you be able to get the top of the turret? And oh, disaster! Dom misses a shell against the tier 6 French self-propelled gun, and now there's a tier 6 American self-propelled gun behind him. The AMX misses the shot, which is going to allow Dom to be able to get a shot around the corner, but he has to leave the cap circle to be able to do so. Okay, Dom, now you've got to chase down the American self-propelled gun because you've left the cap circle and there's not enough time to be able to restart the cap. The M4 looks like they miss micro. Probably the artillery player on the enemy team not used to having to put one hand on the keyboard and just used to having to use the mouse to right to click you from afar. Dom comes around the corner, has a bed on the M44 and shuts them down, securing 6,500 damage and 9 kills in a tech tree tank. And the one that everybody wants, of course, for standing alone against 5, the Kolobanov's medal. Dom, round of applause to you, sir. You absolutely dominated in this game, Dom. And there's nothing that I like more than seeing tech tree tanks having games that would make even the most overpowered premium tanks blush. So Dom's going to need a whole extra jacket to pin all of these medals on, excluding the ones that I've already mentioned. He also picks up a Dimitri's medal for destroying 3 enemy self-propelled guns in a single battle, a steel wall for managing to block 1,640, enough to destroy his vehicle once over at least. And to top it all off, Dom makes a healthy profit in this game with or without a premium account. So look, Dom165 of the North American server, congratulations to you for being cool under pressure and getting through with the Kolobanov's medal. This amount of base experience, you could probably half it and it would still have been an ace tanker in this vehicle. 2,293 base. Yeah, you got me. You went one up on my all-time record, which is in the VK2801. Although that was when it was back at tier 5 with a little 105mm dirt with some disgusting penetration. So I can't claim anything really. It must have felt awesome, Dom. Congratulations once again. And thank you so much for uploading your replay on the What Replays EU website for the community to enjoy. I thoroughly did, and I knew I wanted to have the pleasure of commentating on your awesome replay. And the final thing I want to say is that, Dom, I think it's very fitting that you're in a clan called Rocky, because this was probably one of the comeback games of 2020. Anyway, ladies and gents, boys and girls, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. But if you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And let me know in the comments what you think about all of the recently changed heavy tanks. Have any been given a new lease of life and you really enjoy playing them? Let me know which ones you have been playing more of recently in the comments down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.